Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Vanatari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhisham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Udiraye Nasta Prayeshu Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah Namah Pankaja Navaya Namah Pankaja Maline Namah Pankaja Netraya Namaste Pankajangre Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Goratshe Nama Namo Brahmanyaya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Nama Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi पाश्चात्य देश तारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम् ॐ पवित्र वा सर्वावस्थं गतोऽपि वा यस्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्षं स भयाभयङ्करं शुचि श्रीविष्णु First of all, I would like to thank His Grace Lilananda Prabhu and Anu Mataji for creating such a nice platform. Although I am unqualified to speak on this Bhagavatam, it is only because of him. I was introduced we are getting this opportunity. And I would also like to thank Subharo Prabhuji for hosting this today's session. And I would like to thank each and every one of the devotee. Because of your prayers, I am continuing in this devotional service. Hare Krishna. So whatever I am speaking today is from the teachings of the Srila Prabhupada and his devotee, his disciples, and mainly it is coming from the lecture of Gauranga Prabhu and his notes. So in this attempt, if I speak anything wrong, please forgive me. As you forgive your maid servant. If there is anything which you get a positive or helpful, the all credit goes to the Guru Parampara. Hari. So with this, we'll start our session. So the basic idea is today. So we know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So why he is that? Why he is Supreme Personality of Godhead? Almost we hear it day to day life. We are convinced that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and because all of you are chanting 16 minimum 16 rounds. So naturally, you are all aware of the philosophy, everything. But even in coming, we are taught in the SSR sessions that we are looking for happiness, but the happiness is far away. So slowly we are introduced, but this material world is dukhalayam ashashatam. So this material world is full of. So we should start the devotional service. Are the devotees away from this dukha? Even they also get it. So that our today's topic is based on this. So even the devotees facing the difficulties, how should we progress in our devotional service? So the leading verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10, 14, and 18. So I request one Prabhuji and one Mataji to recite the sloka and translation. So Prabhuji is first. Any volunteer?
Prabhuji, can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Tattenukampam su samikshamaano bhujnana evatmakritam vipakam hridvat vipurvibhur vidadhan namaste jivatayo muktipade sadaya bhak. Oh my dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, in chapter 8 verse.
One Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, please.
Tattenukampam su samikshamano bhunjasa evatma kritam vipakam vapurbhir vidadhan namaste jiveta yo mukti padesa daya bhak. My dear one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.8. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So as we have discussed, this material world is a place of dukhalayam and ashashvatam. So this place is fully filled with dukhalayam. So we are aware that for the last 2 years, this is an ongoing pandemic. We do not know how many years it is going to last. After this, is how many pandemics are going to come. So different kinds of problems are there in this material world. So this dukkha, even devotee is not immune to that. Even devotee and non-devotee face the same dukkha. Why? In Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, those who surrender to me, I shall protect you. I shall protect you from the reactions of the previous karma. Once we surrender to Krishna, so entire he takes charge of the entire karma. So naturally, a devotee should never feel that dukkha. But why the devotee is facing the problems? So even when we are starting to surrender or we are surrendered, so there may be even the slightest traces of enjoyment mentality. The reason why we are in this material world is because we wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna. So somewhere or the other, there are remnants of enjoyment mentality. Even the devotee might have that. So even the slightest trace, Krishna wants to remove it. Krishna wants to remove the whole of the enjoyment mentality. So he gives a token of difficulties. So in the life of a devotee, when Krishna gives a problem, it is a mercy to remind this place is not a place for gentlemen, not place for a devotee. Our place is the lotus feet of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. So it is just to eradicate last traces of enjoyment mentality and to create complete surrender in the heart of a devotee. And not only that, Krishna wants to glorify his devotees by showing how devotee reciprocates to the difficult situations. So Brahma says here, so in our devotional service, so we also face certain difficulties. How do we overcome it? Brahma says, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him. We have to wait for bed. We have to wait. We have to be patient. Krishna's mercy is going to come, but we have to wait for that. Even while waiting, we have to patiently suffer the reaction. So we should think that it is because of only of my past karma I am facing this. I would have got more problems. But Krishna is so merciful that he has given me only small problem. He has reduced this problem and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, word, and body is surely eligible for liberation. So, in essence, even whatever difficulties we are facing, we should stay in Krishna consciousness. We should associate with the devotees. We should practice our own sadhana, especially the chanting. So, but generally, what happens when a problem comes, we stop chanting. I will do chanting when my problem is solved. It's not like that. We should do our regular sadhana even our boss scolds us, our financial situations are weak, whatever happens. At least minimum to minimum is we should do this chanting and follow the four regulative principles. One who stays in Krishna consciousness is a surrender. Hare Krishna. The one who stays in Krishna consciousness is surely eligible for liberation. That is what Brahma is going to say here. So, in order to understand this one pastime of Gajendra, we know Gajendra. So, when we are practicing our devotional service, imagine ourselves in the position of Gajendra. So generally, it is not a new thing. So when we watch movies or TV serials, we imagine ourselves in the position of a hero, heroine. So when hero fights, we also think that we are fighting. We get involved into that fight scenes. So similarly, when we are practicing our devotional service, we should imagine ourselves in the shoes of Gajendra. We should be able to do that. So what has happened? So Gajendra is a king of elephants. So he was having a nice life with all his family, spouse, etc. So he was in a commanding situation. So one day, what happened when he went towards the lake? The crocodile snapped his leg. Then he was trying to pull that leg out of it. He was moving here and there, trying to remove that leg from the crocodile, but he was unable to do that. So after thousands of years, he has passed thousands of years, but the strength of the crocodile is increasing, and the strength of the elephant is decreasing, because the natural water is a natural element for crocodile. Its energy increases in the water. The energy of the elephant decreases in the water. So similarly, how do we understand this? We are in an enjoyment mentality like this, Gajendra. We are trying to enjoy with all the relatives, friends, family, etc. So one day, we are caught hold of this problem, visible problem. But Prabhupada says, though we have a problem or not a problem, we are bound by this crocodile called Maya. So this crocodile has many teeth. So one teeth is biting you, is creating pain to you. Other teeth is creating pleasure to all of us. So once we will be having dukkha, and one side we will having sukha. But both are all dukkhas. So we should understand that we are 24/7 caught hold of this Maya. We are trying to get out of this Maya by various means. But this material world is a place for Maya, and its strength goes on increasing, and our strength goes on decreasing. So we should take the shelter of Lord Srihari, how Gajendra has taken the shelter. That's why Acharya says, so our day should start with the prayers. So Gajendra, we will see the components of the prayers. How Gajendra has started to surrender. We should think this, the way Gajendra has surrendered, we should daily surrender to Krishna in the same mode. So Gajendra, verse 1 starts with remembrance of prayer. So Sri Sukadeva Goswami continued. Thereafter, the king of the elephants, Gajendra, fixed his mind in his heart with perfect intelligence and chanted a mantra which he had learned in his previous birth as Indrajumna. We all know that Gajendra was in the previous life Indrajumna Maharaj, who was a great devotee of Krishna, but unfortunately, he was cursed to become an elephant. So, because of his devotional service can perform in the previous life, he could remember the mantra. So, what should we learn? So, everyone should chant the holy names, practice devotional service. So, what happens even when we have not completed our devotional service in this life? Then in the next life, we will be starting from where we have left. He will, in due course of time, remember the spirit, supreme personality of Godhead. So everyone who has to chant, Krishna gives one chance to remember him again every time. We all have got the chance. So you can see in the Bhagavad Gita 6.43 and 44. On taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success. By virtue of divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to yogic principles even without seeking them. So every devotee should have to practice the devotional service, to chant the mantras, especially the Hare Krishna mantra, like example of Ajamil. So Ajamil, before falling down, he was a pious Brahmana chanting the holy names. But at the crucial time of his death, though he called his son Narayana, the Vishnu Dutas has come and saved him from the greatest danger. He was given a chance to execute his devotional service, perfect his life, and ultimately he went back to Godhead. So this is a very hope-giving statement. So even though we are not able to complete because of the strength of devotional service which we are doing right now, it creates a favorable situation in the coming life. We will be again reinstated into the devotional service and ultimately go back to the Godhead. So that's why we have to chant the holy names very sincerely. The second 2 to 4th verse describes the characteristics of the Supreme Lord as he is the cause of all causes. He is a supreme energy. He is supreme energetic and he is transcendental. So Sri Gajendra says, King of Elephant Gajendra says, I offer my respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. Because of him, This material world acts due to the presence of the spirit, and he is therefore the root cause of everyone. He is worshipable for such exalted persons as Brahma and Shiva, and he has entered the heart of every living being. Let me meditate upon him. Gajendra is saying his life is existing because of the touch of the spirit, spiritual element. Krishna is, as Paramatma, is inside our heart. There is a touch of the spirit, Krishna as Paramatma. Because of that touch, now his life is existing. Now he wants to engage in a devotional service. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, who can approach Krishna? Who, one who is inquisitive to learn, one who is seeking for money, one who is in distress. One who since really feels the distress, he starts taking shelter of the Krishna. The problem today is we are not understanding the problem. What is the real problem? That is our problem. The real problem is the Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. So when one understands these four problems in life, naturally the person will take shelter of the Supreme Lord, even unknowingly. Here, Gajendra, he did not knew who is the Supreme Personality of God. Acharya is, Prabhupada is so merciful, he did not, even more merciful than Krishna. He did not made us wait till the end. He said the Supreme Personality of Godhead right now. But at this stage, Gajendra did not know who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he knows there is one Supreme Personality of Godhead and I need to take shelter. Even if we don't know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we will be directed to Him. When one awakens to Krishna conscious understanding, so we will understand that Krishna is a Paramatma inside. So this big body becomes a temple for Paramatma. This body becomes a spiritual. The material becomes spiritual. Krishna has the potency. So when we are in Krishna consciousness, this body is no longer a material body; it becomes a spiritual body. So when we start executing, body of Gajendra has become a spiritual body. What to say of the spiritual master who is completely surrendered to the Krishna? The body, spiritual master is like Guru. He is not an ordinary person. He is a representative of Krishna. His body is not a material body. It is spiritual. So that is what we see in the 10 offenses of the holy name. We to blaspheme that, to not consider the words of the supreme, to the spiritual master. So why do we don't take orders of the spiritual master? Because we think he is just an ordinary person like us. So I am a Sanskrit scholar, but my spiritual master is not a Sanskrit scholar. He doesn't know Sanskrit. It doesn't matter whether he knows Sanskrit or not, but he is completely surrendered to Supreme God. He is not. He is not. He is not having a material body. So one should stop thinking that the spiritual master is an ordinary person like us. He is complete surrendered soul. Verse 3 speaks about the energy. So the Supreme God, Supreme Godhead is the supreme platform on which everything rests, the ingredient by which everything has been produced, and the person who has created and is the only cause of this cosmic manifestation. Nonetheless, he is different from the cause and the result. I surrender unto him, the Supreme Personality of God, who is self-sufficient in everything. So in Bhagavad Gita 9.4, it is said, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. So I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but everything rests upon my energy. Just an earthen pot rests on the earth. So even the earthen pot is made of the same earth. It rests on the earth. Similarly, though everything is created from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything rests on the energy of the Supreme Lord. So he is supreme energy. Otherwise, how could he sustain? How could he lift all the things? So if there, we know the analogies, two analogies: canvas painting, paint, and the painter. All belongs to the same energy, but they are different. Painter is different from the paint and the painting. And the potter is different from pot wheel and pot and earth. Although he is everything, his personality is different from cosmic manifestation. So he is a supreme energy. So he is a supreme energetic. Gajendra says in the verse 4, he is a supreme energetic. The entire cosmos is sustained by his own potency, by potency of the Krishna. He creates and he is a destroyer. In the 11th chapter, we will see that how in the form of Kalarupa, he is destroying it. When Pachandashi is the gory form of Krishna, he comes as a destruction in the form of time, etc. But he also created. We know how Santosh Prabhu. Everything is coming from me. So I am the source of creation. I am the controller of everything. So Gajendra wants to say that Krishna is the cause of everything, is created and destroyed. So he has created the desires in him. Desire also is created by Krishna. Now it is the responsibility of Krishna to destroy the desires, which is the cause of the miseries. The cause of my misery, and he has to free from my misery. Gajendra is seeking, you have caused this desire, and I'm surrendering to you. You have to destroy my desires, which is causing my misery. In the verse 5, it is said that Krishna is the transcendental. He is above this darkness, and however, he is the supreme person. Darkness is compared to ignorance. Like example of Aditya Varnam Tamasha Parat, analogy of a sun. So, as you know, the sun today, now the sun is in this eastern part of the earth. In the evening, it moves on to the western countries. It gives a sign there. Though we are in the darkness right now, in the evening, the sun is always there. But we think that sun has set. It's not set. It has transferred to the western country. The sun is always there, but we are in the darkness. Similarly, Krishna is always transcendental. He is always there. But due to our ignorance, we are in the darkness. We are thinking that Krishna is not existing. Krishna is always there. He is transcendental. So what are the qualifications to realize Supreme Lord? What is it? In 6 and 7 verses, who can understand who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? An artist on this, Krishna is feeling unqualified. He's humble enough. It's not that out of pride. Sometimes we say, I'm unqualified, I'm unqualified. To make that we are truly surrendered. We want others to recognize that I am surrendered. But the Gajendra's mood is not like that. He's completely humble enough. And he's feeling that he is unqualified. That's why His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj says, we should practice Trinadapi Sunichena. We should be humble, humble like a blade of a grass. Then the real qualification, real sense of unqualification comes. An artist on the stage being covered by attractive dresses and dancing with different movements is not understood by his audience. Similarly, the activities and features of the Supreme Artist cannot be understood even by the demigods or great sages, certainly not by those who are unintelligent like animals. So just like when we see movies, we forget that the actual person is acting. So he puts on costumes, everything. We cannot recognize him. Just like we could not recognize an artist who is acting. So Krishna is a supreme artist. So even the demigods, great sages, cannot understand supreme Godhead. So we have seen in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1. So even Lord Brahma is bewildered. All the demigods are bewildered. So like example of Brahma Vimohan Leela and the pastime of Govardhanagiri, where Indra was also confused. All the people, all the demigods were confused. So Gajendra is saying, if demigods are confused, what to speak of an animal like me? So what does it differ? So we can see that Gajendra is an animal. we all have that animalistic tendencies. Animal is ignorant towards the reality of life. Similarly, we are also ignorant to the core problem. So we all have that animalistic tendency, enjoyment mentality. So even demigods are bewildered. How can we ourselves understand who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So we must therefore simply accept the words of Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and follow in their footsteps. It is not by our own intelligence, our own mental capability, we can understand who is Supreme, who is Krishna. It is impossible. So we have to follow the authorities who are coming in the disciple succession. That's why Krishna in the fourth chapter he said, Evam parampara ramta evam rajasya vidhi. You have to follow the parampara system. The mantra coming from the parampara has a meaning. It affects. So all the names of the God are equally transcendental, equally potent. But the mantra given by the spiritual master, who is coming in the disciplic succession, has its effect. We cannot understand the potency of the power of the holy names until unless we take the shelter of a guru. If by the Lord's grace, one can understand him, one will be immediately be delivered. So in the Bhagavad Gita, 4.9 we see Dharma Karma Te Me Divyam Yoveti Tattvada. So one who understands my transcendental pastimes of birth and living, pastimes on the earth. So they have the, they will, once they reach the supreme abode, they will not come back. So we have to read the pastimes of Krishna. So we have to understand what is Bhagavad Gita, what is Krishna saying in the Bhagavad Gita, and we have to regularly read and hear Srimad Bhagavatam from the pure devotees. So who is qualified? So he says, I am an animal, or we are an animalistic mentality, so we are unqualified. But who is qualified? So renunciants and great sages who see all living beings equally, who are friendly to everyone, and who flawlessly practice in the forest the vows of brahmacharya, vanaprastha, and sannyasa, desire to see all the auspicious lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of God. May the same Supreme Personality of Godhead be my destination. So renunciates, great sages, tattvadarshis. So one should approach a tattvadarshi. Who is the tattvadarshi? The acharya coming in the parampara. So they are able to see, like Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, and many more Maharajas, and many more devotees who have seen the realities. They can practice this, so they are qualified to understand who is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Gajendra is also aspiring for such qualities. But I am helpless, as even great sages are bewildered and just. So we also like Gajendra should aspire for such a quality. But we are unable to it. The qualities of great souls are detachment. But what is a detachment? Detachment means renunciation. Renunciation, artificial renunciation is not good. Renunciation in the knowledge is the right thing. So we should engage every activity in the service of God, in the service of Krishna. That is real detachment. So the real quality of a good great souls are detachment. They engage everything in the service of Krishna. We can see the pastimes of Prabhupada, how he engaged everyone and everything in the service of Krishna. He has a supreme sense control. The sense control is a must. But outside, people in the name of Hatha Yoga, all this yoga, different kinds of yoga, Apasampradaya, they say, whatever you do, so you enjoy yourself. There is no need to control your senses. I'm going to deliver you. It's not spirituality doesn't work like that. One should practice sense control. How can we do that? By following the 4 regulatory principles and engaging every sense in the service of Krishna. Then we cannot control our senses, but we can purify our senses. Then automatically the senses are in the control. So the great souls see everyone is equal. though whether it is an animal or a plant or a human, they see the Paramatma inside. They see the soul inside, and by nature, every soul is part and parcel of Krishna, and everything is same. They have that great vision and compassion. So the next in the 4 verse, 8 to 12, 5 verses, Gajendra describes where the Lord appears, the place, the process, the forms. So in 8 to 10 describes about the place, 11 describes the process, and 12 describes the forms. So first is in 8 to 9, what is the place? What is externally he comes in this material world. So why does he comes? To fulfill the purpose for which this material world is created and destroyed, he comes in the form of the human being like Lord Rama, Lord Krishna by his original internal potency. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4.8, Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha duskrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge. After every millennium, I come here for the deliverance of these devotees, for the destruction, annihilation of the are not demons, and establish the dharma. This is the creation of the material world. Material world is created for a certain purpose. So, in order to maintain that purpose, reinstate the purpose, Krishna comes in the material world in different forms. So, Gajendra said, if you save me and kill the crocodile, then both will be delivered. So, Krishna says, I am going to deliver all of you. Well, Krishna's purpose is only to deliverance. He doesn't want any person to be suffering. So Gajendra is asking, if you save me and kill the crocodile, then both will be delivered. If to attain Krishna, you have to have equal vision. So in the previous verse, we have said that we have to have equal vision. So you should treat Gajendra and crocodile in the same way. This is what our material world is working. Equality is going to, we are trying to see equality in this material world. Everyone should be given equal treatment. If Gajendra is protected and crocodile is killed, then how is Krishna protecting the both? Isn't it there there is a contradiction? I'm killing one animal and protect for the sake of another animal. So isn't it not inequality? No, it is not inequality. If Krishna wants to destroy, if he wants to kill, that is also a benediction on this and the jiva. That jiva is also liberated. We know that how the crocodile got its anava body. So he got a process. He got a touch of this Supreme Personality of Godhead, where he could accelerate his devotion. Gajendra is already in a higher stage than the crocodile. But the Dhanava used, he might have got 100 lifetimes, but he got around 2 or 3 lifetimes. That is a mercy of the Krishna. Even if he kills the demons, it is a mercy. Like example of Putana. Though he killed Putana, he has given her the role of a mother. All the demons which were annihilated by Krishna, they got a better chances for devotional service. So it is not inequality; it is actually equality. But each jiva has its own shape. Krishna says, just how the devotee reciprocates to Krishna, Krishna reciprocates in the same way. Gajendra's reciprocation is supreme surrender, but not the crocodile. Crocodile was not that much surrender as Gajendra. So both are liberated according to the way they approach. So internal reasons. He appears in all our heart. So when we read the birth of Krishna, so how did Krishna appear? He appeared in the mind of Vasudeva, and he got transferred into the mind of Devaki, and so we can see that how Devaki was effulgent, glowing, everything. So not only that, but in the process of creation, so he comes as a Garbhoda, ultimately comes as Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and ultimately he enters into each and every heart as Paramatma. So what he is doing as Paramatma, he is witnessing every activity, and he enlightens the individual soul. He is the giving intelligence, remembrance, and forgetfulness. We know this in Bhagavad Gita. So what is the purpose of Krishna appearing in our heart? It is so he has supreme witness and he enlightens the individual soul. But unfortunately, we are not recognizing the Paramatma inside. The process, when we understand, what is the process to understand the supreme soul, the super soul? The super personality of Godhead is realized by the pure devotees who act in the transcendental existence of Bhakti Yoga. He is the bestower of uncontaminated happiness and he is the master of the transcendental world. Therefore, I offer my. He clearly explains the process is Bhakti Yoga. So this Bhakti is coming from the spiritual world. So this should be performed with pure heart and pridelessness. So whatever we can have envy, greed, etc. But Krishna doesn't like the pride in us. Only disqualification is the pride. So when we do bhakti, we should do it in a pure way. So that the entire Bhagavad Gita is progressing. Everywhere Krishna is saying bhakti yoga is the highest. So in 6.6, at the end of chapter, we sing. Of all the best yogis, my devotee is the highest. And the bhakti yoga section, Krishna clearly says bhakti yoga is the highest. You have to practice the bhakti yoga among all the yogas. So bhakti yoga, by way of this devotional service, pure devotional service, we can understand who is Supreme Personality of Godhead. No desire to enjoy. The only reason, 13th chapter says, Purusha, Krishna explains about the Purusha quality, enjoyment mentality. Because of this enjoyment mentality, we are in this material world. So we have to let go of this enjoyment mentality. So you say that you have to let go of all this enjoyment mentality. Am I not supposed to enjoy? Am I not entitled for enjoyment? Yes, we can enjoy. But in the scope, in the boundaries of the service we are doing. Not that I am the doer. Because of me everything exists. This is not the right enjoyment mentality. That we have to take enjoyment in the serving the Supreme Personality of God. Whatever we are serving, whatever service we are having, we should enjoy within those. Right lesson acts the devotional service under the direction of a. So ultimately, say Nishkama. We should not have a material enjoyment. So only by devotional service can one understand the Supreme. So when one is free from all contamination and he acts in the devotional service under the direction of a spiritual master, one is on the platform of Nishkama Karma. How can we be free from contamination? So Sikshashtakam first verse, Cheto Darpana Marjana. So by the process of Sankirtana Yajna, one can become free from contamination. And we should be acting in devotional service. Not just chanting the holy names, we should do services, different kinds of services. So we should be in the devotional service under the guidance of a spiritual master. So this verse has three important topics. So freeing from contamination to the holy names and performing our devotional services and taking the shelter of Supreme Master, spiritual master. Then we will be able to understand this is the process to strengthen our devotional service to continue the chanting of the holy names. So what are the forms? Not only place and so places and the process. Krishna is Indra is saying what forms? Krishna has come in various forms like Varahadeva, Dattatreya, who preached the impersonalism to Lord Buddha, and there are so many incarnations like Narasimha, Rama, etc., etc. So whenever time comes, Krishna appears in different forms. So Lord may ask, Gajendra was anticipating, Lord may ask, hey, how can I appear now? It's not a scheduled time. I have my own schedule. How can I appear now? But Gajendra is saying, whenever a devotee is in distress, you are taking a form. So just like Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was in distress. You have taken the form of Narasimha Dev. So different times when devotee is in distress, you are taking the form. But in our in the present Kali Yuga, where is the form of Krishna? Kali Yuga Nama Rupe. So in this Kali Yuga, Krishna has come to deliver his devotees as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose main intention is to keep the holy names. We also know that the holy names are not different from Krishna. So Krishna in the form of name has come in the Kali Yuga, not only in the name, in the form of book called Bhagavatam. In that person, Bhagavata, the spiritual master is none other than the representative of Krishna is like Krishna. So we all have these forms right now. So we should take the shelter of the holy name, the book Bhagavatam, and the person Bhagavatam. Lord accepts forms as per the time, place, circumstances, and candidates' proclivity. Just like how we reciprocate. How we reciprocate to Krishna, Krishna reciprocates in the same way. Just like how we reciprocate to Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam reciprocates in the same way. So don't think, we should not think that this chanting is an ordinary song. Bhagavatam is an ordinary book printed on a piece of paper. No, these are all transcendental words from the Krishna. Lord appears perpetually. Lord comes in so many forms that no one can say that there is no God. He comes in various forms. One whose search for absolute truth has matured and his knowledge becomes extremely intense and deep. Superficial knowledge is useless for understanding the superficial. Krishna said, knowledge, yes, we should get knowledge. The knowledge should become intense. It should lead to surrender. So knowledge should apply. So gaining the knowledge, getting the information is not does not satisfy Krishna. But we should have application. That information should give transformation in all of us. Otherwise, it will become an information, but there is no transformation. It is a knowledge when not applied is like a dog's tail, which is not fit to cover its private part or show off this. So knowledge should be applied, should become intense and lead us to surrender. The superficial knowledge is not an extreme understanding. So qualities of Supreme Personality of Godhead is described in 13 to 17. He is a Supreme Father, he is supremely merciful, he is Supreme Revealer of the knowledge, he is Supreme Causes, and he is a Director, Supreme Director. So as a Supreme Father, so I am not going to say how he is a Supreme Father, we all know it. Ham Bija Pradapita. So he is a Supreme Father. So as a father, he is seeing the fate of all of us. He knows what are the problems which we are undergoing. He is in the controller. Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacha. So everything is in the control of the Maya is also in the control of the Supreme Lord Krishna. He is a supreme controller. So as a father, his responsibility is to deliver his son. So addressing the Krishna as Supreme Personality God as Supreme Father. You are the Supreme Father, and how are you seeing your son struggling here? So what is your duty? You have to deliver me. So he is a Supreme Director. So my Lord, you are the observer of all the objectives of the senses. So Krishna, Gajendra was saying, so I was changing from the sense object, and you directed. So Krishna, as Paramatma, he is the sanctioning authority. He sanctioned it. So I wanted to enjoy this sense object, and Paramatma has allowed it, directed towards that. So he is the director for that. So, but you were directing me towards that objective. As you helped me forget, and your responsibility is to make me remember. Krishna said, I am giving the intelligence, I am giving the remembrance, and I am giving the forgetfulness. He is the only one who is directing it. So when he is directing it, and he is directing us to forget, he is also responsible for directing for our remembrance. So he is observing directing, he's reminding, and he has to orchestrate our activities. So he is the supreme cause of all causes. So there is in a material world, there is a cause and effect. The supreme cause is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Almost always incomplete. So always complete. In spite of unlimited, why Krishna is complete? We have seen in Isha Upanishad, Om Purnamadam Purnamidam. So whatever is coming from it, he is complete in after everything is coming out, he still stays complete. Not like just like Mayavadi think that when everything comes out, there is no God. God becomes formless. So he is complete in himself. Everything is emanating from him, and Krishna doesn't change. He is one who is not changing. Everything is changing, but Krishna is one who is not changing. Therefore, we must take to the shelter of Krishna. How can we take the shelter of Krishna? By understanding through the Vedas. Vedas is survey aham me vedi. By means of the Vedas, I am taken unknown. But in the verse 16, we know that we are seeing Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, all the Vedas, we are understanding. But as an animal, Gajendra don't has access to the Vedas. Similarly, the animalistic people like us don't have clear access of this Bhagavad. Though it is there right before us, we are unable to unlock the secrets in it complete. So we are unable to understand this Vedas. Then how can we understand Krishna? By not our own means. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 10.11, to show them the person I dwelling in the hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of the knowledge darkness. Krishna is going to give the knowledge. In the form of a guru, comes in the form of a guru and gives us. That's why he said, Om Ajnana Timirandasya. Guru is one who brings us the torch of knowledge, dispels our ignorance. Otherwise, we cannot understand what is there in the Vedas. It's called revealed scriptures. Krishna has to reveal it. Pure devotee has to reveal it. What is there inside the scriptures? Then only animalistic people like us can have access to Vedas and understand who is Krishna and take shelter of Krishna. So he is a swift deliverer. Since an animal such as me has surrendered unto you, who are supremely liberated, certainly you will release me from this dangerous position. Indeed, being extremely merciful, you incessantly try to deliver me. By your partial feature as Atma, you are situated in the hearts of all embodied beings. You are celebrated as direct transcendental knowledge, and you are unlimited. So in this material world, everyone is a Pashu, as we have talked about, an animal, because of the bodily conception of it. Everyone is attacked by crocodile of material existence. Krishna, Gajendra is saying here, Namo Lalaya. What does this mean? Krishna doesn't wait for us to seek shelter. Oh, let me see this devotee. If this devotee takes shelter, start surrendering, I will go there. No, Krishna is always eager and attentive. He's not inattentive. He's not sitting idle inside our heart. He's always trying to motivate all of us to make us surrender to him. It's not that today Harinam has come. So okay, this fellow is standing Hare Krishna. Now I have to deliver him. No, he's always attentive. He's always giving the reactions so that one day we can take shelter of him. Even before our prayers, he insisted tries to deliver. So he is a swift deliverer. Only activity of Krishna is Paritranaya Sadhana, the important activity. He has to deliver his devotees. So if Krishna is the supreme center, why are we not able to take shelter? Why is surrender so not so easy? So because Lord says, why didn't you take shelter of me before? Anybody says, so I come to you, I come towards you for your help. Immediately what will you say? Why didn't you come before? That is our tendency. So Gajendra was imagining Lord may say, why did you take shelter? So he himself is saying that you are extremely difficult to attain for those like me who are attached to the mental concoctions. This is our problem. We have our mental ideas. So whatever materialistic ideas we have, we bring that in the spiritual circle as well. Because of that, we are unable to take shelter of the whole game. Because our attachment towards the home, relatives, friends, money, servants, and assistants. So that's what Krishna says. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "Na dhanam, na janam, na sundari." So when we practice that, so it is called actual detachment. Nothing is mine. Everything is a property. Everything is owned by Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am the caretaker. It's not that we have to go to Himalayas, abandoning our relatives. But we should understand that we are the caretakers. We are the owners. Because of these mental attachments, we are unable to understand this. Krishna is not like that. He is beyond these three modes of material nature. That's why only the liberated person can constantly think of liberation means it's not going to somewhere or some location. So some as the other people say, we go to Brahmajyoti and get liberated. Liberation actually means let go of these material ideas. So everything should be used in the service of Krishna. Then naturally we are all liberated in right now in this body. So we have to let go of this material ideas. So what is the impetus for taking a shelter? What is the motivation factor we should derive from that to take shelter? For Sakama Bhaktas, okay, I am having certain desires. So Lord is the one who is sanctioner. He gives he reciprocates and he never disappoints. He fulfills all our desires. That's why we are getting life on life. We are getting different bodies. Why are we getting those bodies? Because I wanted to enjoy certain material objects, material sense enjoyments. If I want to eat meat, Lord gives us the body of a tiger. So Lord is reciprocating and Lord is fulfilling all our desires. So for any desire we have, kama sarva kamo. So whatever desire we have, we should take shelter of the Supreme Lord. As all surrender to me, if you are going for a certain desires, Krishna will sanction those desires. He never disappoints anybody. Just like Dhruva Maharaj. The Dhruva Maharaj went with a desire to get the position which is highest than the Brahma. Ultimately, he became a devotee. So Lord is so merciful that he has given the position which he requested and he has given the spiritual body. God gives us even the spiritual body, fulfill our desires. That we can see in the example of a Dhruva Maharaj. So even after when we have any desires, we should take shelter of Krishna. For Nishkama Bhaktas, there is no desire at all. So such devotees never ask any Lord for any benediction. Their another devotees have only three features. The only thing is service, full surrender, hearing, and chanting. These are the three qualities which another devotees have. There's no other desires. But as you can see here, Gajendra is desiring for liberation. He's crying out, why am I put into this danger? Even devotees sometimes behave like this. It doesn't mean that the devotee has become like an ordinary person. So Gajendra, the king, it is circumstantially. Circumstantially, when we face problems, we can ask to the Lord to remove this problem. It's not a problem. It's not that we should not ask our father. Father knows it. But circumstantially, the pain is so high that we can ask our Supreme Lord. But where are we asking? Am I asking to Krishna or to any other devatas? This is the matter. So circumstantially, Gajendra was put into situation, though he being a devotee in a previous life, he was feeling the pain and speaking in these words. Words, it is a regret. Even when the devotee prays, it is because of the regret, because he feels that because of any problem, I am in this material world. Please save me. So unless one is a completely pure devotee, one cannot enjoy the transcendental bliss delivered right from chanting and dancing. So one should be a very pure devotee to get the chanting and devotee dancing. But Lord is so merciful that He came in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and though we don't have the qualifications, He has given this holy name. You chant this holy name, it will only make you pure devotee, and you can enjoy the transcendental happiness. How merciful our Krishna is. Only by devotional service, no other way, we can approach the Supreme Lord. So, this is a summary description of the Supreme Lord. He has unlimited potencies. What does the Lord creates? He creates everything. He creates the part and parcels, jivas, jivatmas, right from the Brahma, everything. What he is not, he is neither the demigod, nor the demon, neither human, nor bird, nor beast. No, he is not nothing. He is transcendental. He is a source of everything. He is. That's why from this we can understand. Though Hiranyakashipu requested, he cannot be killed by any devata. But Vishnu is not a devata. He is beyond that. He is Bhagavan. So though directly Vishnu could have come directly because he doesn't fit any category of what Hiranyakashipu has asked. He is beyond of everything. But in order to protect the words of his devotee Brahma, he has taken the form of Narsimhadev. Otherwise, he is beyond. He can come directly and annihilate Hiranyakashipu. So we should not think him to be an ordinary human being. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, only fools dread him, thinking that he is an ordinary human being. So this is our actual layers of surrender. This is how we should surrender to the Krishna. How do we surrender to the holy name? By remembrance, we require help in remembering, in self-control, in liberation from ignorance, release from the material life, and in purification. So Gajendra wants liberation from ignorance. So we should pray to the Lord that my ignorance is removed. Considering every nature in this material world, every body is bound to suffer because one way or the other. But we are trying to make our situation, change our situation so that I want to be happy. It's not going to work out. So in every condition, we should think that body contains something. This body is of alayam asasvatam and takes shelter. We are making. But in this material world, whatever, whether you wear mask or whatever you do, one day or the other, you are being affected. As a responsible devotee, we will do all the precautions needed as the government says. We do our part, but doesn't make that we will be happy with all these things. Wearing a mask is not a happy situation. Doesn't make you feel happy. Again, dukkha only. So you are protecting from corona. So every time you have to think, Krishna, please protect me. I am taking the shelter of Krishna. So release me from this material life. So people outside say, where is God? I want to see God. But God is not to be seen. So we have seen, does God exist session? There is a creator. So Gajendra is thinking that, yes, there is a supreme personality of God, and I need to take shelter of him to make him released from this material world. So, but in the present day, in the names of in various yoga practices, like what you call hatha yoga, all those things, these are pretentious forms of yoga. There is no sense control. There is no philosophical understanding behind it. There is no rules and regulations. They are not following any religious principle. Prabhupada says, all the other forms of yoga, especially the hatha yoga, is like a childish activity. Doing some gymnastics. I know the gymnastics. A child who knows gymnastics, he presents before his friends who doesn't know that And immediately his friend says, "Oh, great! How could you do this gymnastic? I am not able to stretch this body like that. I cannot make my body curl like that." So this is like a child's play. The Hatha yoga is like a child's play. Prabhupada says. The highest form of the yoga is the Bhakti yoga. So sense control, we have to seek help from Supreme Lord Krishna. Attachment, greed, and lust are the three formulas. Attachments, lust, and greed. These are preventing us from concentrating on the holy things. These forces act because Supreme Lord does not like to be realized by non-devotees. These are the tools used by Supreme Personality of Godhead to separate devotees from non-devotees. He wants to separate non-devotees. He gives lust, greed, and attachments. As a devotee, we should be away from this. One cannot become a devotee unless we surrender to the Lord's lotus feet. We should have the surrenders. We should have the dependence. So when we are chanting the holy name, we should be completely dependent on the Krishna, so that my chanting will go good. Not that today my mood is good, my voice is good, we are able to chant good. We should be dependent on Krishna. So ultimately, the remembrance is coming from Krishna. Jiva's identity and by of Jiva's identity and Lord's glory. When we understand the Lord's glory, we will understand what is our position. Divera Sarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nityadas. So as a Jiva, our identity is the soul, eternally servant of Krishna. We are eternal servants. We should surrender to Krishna only. So Gajendra prays ends over here in the verse 32-33. So here the Lord appears. So Sri Sukadeva Goswami continued, when the king of the elephants was describing the supreme authority without mentioning any particular person, he did not invoke the demigods headed by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra, and Chandra. Thus none of them approached him. However, because Lord Hari is super soul, Paramatma, Purushottama, the supreme personality of Godhead, he appeared before them. So as we said, Gajendra did not know who is the supreme, but Krishna, he did not say, "Hey Shiva, hey Brahma, hey Indra." He said, "Hey Supreme Personality, hey Bhagwan." So demigods did not approach Gajendra. None of the demigods, because it was not understood them. So who came? Who came? Because he is sitting inside the heart as Purushottama, Paramatma, and he understands who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he came. All the devatas know it. The only unfortunate thing, we do not know who is God and who is a devata. So in the 30th, 31st verse, Acharyas explained that Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, Gajendra was praying for the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demigod, who could have immediately gone to his rescue, hesitated to go there. Since they considered Gajendra's care to be directed towards the Lord, they felt offended. And this in itself was offensive. Demigods did not reciprocate. They felt they are also offended. It is an offense to the holy name. It is an offense to the Krishna as well. So consequently, when the Lord went there, they also went and offered praise to the Lord, so that their offense, along with Gajendra, all the devatas also prayed to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, we are doing so many offenses. We are not immune. We are really performing all the 10 offenses. Though we read 10 offenses to holy name, we are committing all the 10 offenses. So we should take shelter of Krishna. Please forgive me. I am unable to chant with the offenses. So Krishna will reciprocate one day. Indra was very eager to see Supreme Personality of Godhead, that when he saw the Supreme Lord coming in the sky with great pain and in feeble voice, he offered respect to the Lord. A devotee does not consider a dangerous position. So this is what we should record. Every devotee, every one of us should remember this point. A devotee does not consider a dangerous position to be dangerous. But in such a dangerous position, he can fervently pray to the Lord in great ecstasy, like Gajendra, like Kunti, like Ambarish Maharaj, all these, like Prahlad Maharaj, all these devotees, when there was pain, it is easy to surrender towards Krishna. It's very this pain is a benediction given by Lord Sri Krishna, so that we can remember him. So this is the guaranteed way of going back to Godhead. When devotee is in danger, remember Lord sincerely. We should remember him, not that after I will remember after every problem is solved. This is the right time. When we have the problem, we should remember Krishna. Remember with undiverted attention. Does not accuse Supreme Lord. Consider it due to his past merit. So we should not complain. Why do we do this? Why are you doing this? I am a devotee. Why are you giving these problems to me? It's not like that. We should understand God's intention, what Krishna's intention. You should not blame Krishna. So ultimately, thereafter seeing Gajendra in such an enviable position, the unborn Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, immediately got down from the back of Garuda by his causeless mercy and pulled the king of the elephants along with the crocodile out of the water. Then, in the presence of all the demigods who were looking on, the Lord severed the crocodile's mouth from its body with his disc. In this way, he saved Gajendra. So, when we chant these holy names, when we do bhakti, considering the prayers of the Gajendra, by the nature of surrender of Gajendra, Krishna will come like how Vishnu has come in Gajendra, sorry, Garuda. He did not care for his clothing. He said, Gajendra, if you Garuda, if you cannot go beyond faster than this, you sit on my back, I will take you faster. The Vishnu is not taking time. He is completely fast. So when we do the bhakti in this mode, Krishna will deliver us by cutting the bounds binding from the Maya. The Maya is a crocodile, right? So he will, by the way of his Sudarshana, he will cut the attachment towards the Maya and he will liberate. So after this, Gajendra's prayer happened. So Gajendra was not again trying to enjoy. He did his devotional service. Immediately he was not liberated. He was liberated from the sufferings and after that he completely surrendered. So when we are into devotional service, we should have complete surrenders to Krishna alone. Nothing else. This is Vyavasayatmika Buddhir Ekaha Purna. So when we understand this, we should take complete surrender of this holy name in association of devotees, having the knowledge from the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. We should chant the holy names try to chant the holy names without any expense. With this, I would like to end my session. Open this for any suggestions, encouragement. Hare Krishna. Any doubts? Hare
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Satya.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. One question, Prabhuji. Just you mentioned that whenever we do perform bhakti, maybe in this lifetime, let's say, we have done 10% of bhakti,
Yes.
and next life we'll continue that from 11%.
Yes.
But is it possible to perform bhakti in higher planets? Or is it only possible? It is only possible in this bhuloka, or generally, based on our karmic reactions, if we do punya karma, we'll go to higher planets. If it is papa karma, we'll go to lower planets. So, but if we heard, in our speeches that only karma is possible only in this planet, right? But what about bhakti? But bhakti, can it be performed in a higher planet?
It's a wonderful question. So, what is the highest planet in this material world? It's Bhurloka, Satyaloka. Even highest of the planet is Vaikuntha. So there are Vaikuntha Loka and Goloka. What are we going to do in Goloka and Vaikuntha? We are going to do bhakti there. It's ultimately bhakti is the highest. We are going to do bhakti alone. Whatever it doesn't, it is immaterial about what is your position. Either when we consider, when we limit ourselves to this material world for our understanding, whether it is possible in higher planets and lower planets, it is possible, but there is a danger. Acharyas are giving caution. In the upper planetary systems, we will be having sukhas, happiness more. We can enjoy more and more. In this mode of enjoyment, we will forget Krishna. Like how Brahma, that is what described in the Brahma Memorial, how Brahma is bewildered. There is a chance of misusing that convenience and forgetful of Krishna. And at the end, we have seen it is, we can take exclusive surrender when we are in distress. Krishna says, when we are in distress, not in happiness. Yes, we can do it. We should do that in happiness as well. But it is very easy for us to take shelter of Krishna when we are in distress. But as you go in the lower planetary system, our distress increases more and more. So when there is no time, we are getting all distress by distress by distress. Even in that state, we cannot concentrate on Krishna. It's impossible. If you are extremely distressful, there is a danger that we will not remember Krishna. So favorable is a mix. When we do hot water bath, we do in the winter season, we don't take extreme cold water or extreme hot water. We mix both and make a blend. So we require convenient practice of bhakti. We require a blend of happiness and distress. Then we can understand, we can have a surrender. So it is more possible in this Bhuloka, where happiness and distress are balanced. In extreme happiness and extreme distress, there is a chance of forgetful of Krishna. Bhakti can be done in any places, but more favorable in this earthly plan. Did I answer your question, Satya Prabhuji? So anybody else can add if I have missed any other points? Or I would request Lilananda Prabhu, senior devotees like Subara Prabhu, Praveen Prabhu to add upon me. Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu, you're audible, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. No, Prabhu, what you said is...
You can add points, Prabhu.
Nilan Prabhuji is talking.
No, I was just saying, thank you, Prabhu. So wonderfully explained. Thank you. And especially the whole Gajendra Moksham prayers, the way structured way you explained, it is so easy to remember it again and again. Though we may not remember the Sanskrit verses, but the content was so nicely explained. Thank you for that.
Any other questions?
Sorry, Prabhuji, can I ask one more?
Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Yeah. Prabhuji, you mentioned one point that the Lord looks at both equally, Lord will have equal vision, right? So that means he is looking at Gajendra as well as the Makara equally. So does it give a wrong impression to those people that, instead of, Bhakti is a very hard way. So why don't I follow the Makara way and get the liberation? So, because anyway, God is equal to both. So even if I'm in a Makara way also, I can get the liberation. But why to choose the path of Gajendra way? To go for a complete surrender and get the liberation.
So why you mean to ask if this is equal? The Lord is stating is the equal vision to both. Non-devotees may misunderstand it to be a partiality. So why did Krishna go in that Gajendra way? Is it what
Right, right.
am I
No,
understanding?
but
I am
when
understanding.
the liberation is equally given to both jivas, then non-devotees also think that okay, why I should go for a bhakti path? I can also do my whatever my way, and I can also get the liberation because God is equal to me as well.
Yes, yes. I got your point. So in one of the verses when we started, when Acharya was explaining, he said, Prabhupada, what he was mentioning in the purport, superficial knowledge is not sufficient. So many people know that this Gajendra Moksha, how Gajendra took help, how this Leela, everybody knows professional Bhagavata reciters, they recite in on the stages. That doesn't have any effect. As you said, people will think that Lord is partial. Yes, Lord says he is also partial towards his devotees. Lord is very well. Just like an example for Akbar and Birbal. So Akbar said, why should Lord same as why should Lord be partial towards devotees? So Birbal, you know the past story. Birbal creates an artificial replica of his son and he pushes him inside the water. So Akbar immediately jumps into the water, even though the soldiers are there. So when Akbar comes out, he says, why did you jump when the soldiers are there? He is my son. I should take help. I should help him. So devotees are like obedient sons. That's why he shows more favor. But it doesn't mean that he is not favoring the demons, not favoring the non-devotees. According to their nature, according to their surrender, we cannot understand more than suppose my level is 10%. I cannot understand 11%. So Krishna comes to that level as 10% only. That's why he has given so many scriptures. So more scriptures for the mode of people in the mode of ignorance, in the mode of goodness. There are different types of people. So he wants to elevate everyone into mode of goodness and ultimately into sattva-guna. That's why he doesn't want anybody to go, but he reciprocates accordingly. Just like our teacher gives knowledge according to our status. If I am dull, you cannot expect me to be excelling rank 1, but he will make sure that this dull student will also pass. That is the nature. That's what Krishna, though if he favors both equally, the way they reciprocate is different. Gajendra is more obedient in this situation, more obedient than crocodile. So not naturally, his inclination is towards the crocodile. So he surrendered. I want liberation. He asked for liberation and he gave it. But crocodile did not ask. He favored it. How did he favor? Instead of 100 to 1000 lifetimes, he has reduced the number of lifetimes. He got to the another body and his process is accelerated. Coming towards him is accelerated. That is his favor. Did I answer your question, Satya Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. So, just to my understanding, when you say, even though the end result is same, but in the devotee case, Lord personally comes, but in other cases, maybe it is it will be done by the parshad or it will be done by the process of karma. But in the case of devotees, he personally takes care of the devotees.
He personally takes care.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. That example of the Akbar Birbal was very apt. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, can we say that if a non-devotee associate with the devotees, they also get the benefit of this one? We can say that also, right?
When a non-devotee associates,
Yes.
but we should before associating with a non-devotee, our sadhana should be strong. Otherwise, we will get moved towards. That's right. Why spiritual master, all the devotees are taking a risk and coming. Without that, we would have been in a non-devotee side. They have come into our life. They pulled us. They associated with us, handholded us, and pulled us towards this devotional path. Yes, we should associate, but don't take their ideas into picture. We should give our own our ideas, elevate them so that they can practice, they can start bhakti someday. Answer the question, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
That's why Krishna, Chaitanya Prabhu says, as a responsible citizen of India, especially in India, our main duty is to preach. By way of discourses, by way of our actions. Preaching doesn't mean you give a discourse out. By our own actions, we can preach to others. So preaching is most important. We should take that risks, associate with non-devotees, try to elevate them. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Sarvasya Sharanagati is possible only during the time of distress. Is it true, Prabhuji?
Surrender starts as we have seen, I think in the 7th chapter, or I don't remember. So distress, one who is inquisitive towards knowledge, one who is seeking for material wealth, they can come approach Krishna. But those who are in seeking for knowledge, they come much more faster. So Krishna says, Bhunanam Janmananta Jnanavan Man. Yes, distress is one approach. There is a chance after our distress is removed, we may forget Krishna again. Krishna has solved his purpose. My distress is removed. We may forget. That is what Kunti is saying. Kunti's fear is that she wants distress so that she can remember Krishna. Means that after distress, we have a chance to forget Krishna. But one who is knowledgeable, one who is seeking after knowledge of Krishna, is surely going to get. He is the highest. One who is in the seeking of knowledge is the highest. Then he will understand Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, ultimate Supreme. Hare Krishna. Did I answer your question, Satya?
Yes, Prabhuji. That means, just to give like analogy, like who is the person who is in total surrender? Like our acharyas, can we take them as like, oh, they are in a complete surrender to Lord? Can we take their example?
Yes. We should always have a role model, and role model like this are acharyas, parampara. So we should follow in the footsteps. We should not imitate them, but we should follow them in the so he is our leader. He is a supreme leader. We should follow him. How he is handling the situations. We should take shelter of Guru.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, can you please be a little louder, Prabhuji? I am unable to hear you.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can you hear right now?
Yeah, it is low, but okay.
Yeah. Prabhuji, you said that there are many people outside also, they recite Gajendra prayers and all. So whether they can also remember, for example, if they die also, whether they can remember that prayers in the next life, like Gajendra did and all.
Okay. So outside they said as a professional reading, people attend them as an auspicious activity. Yes, no doubt it is an auspicious activity. It adds to Ajnata Sukruti. That Ajnata Sukruti may someday lead to a devotional service. Yes, before achieving the Suddha Sattva, we should be in Sattva Guna. In ignorance and passion, it is very difficult. We should come to the platform of goodness, then we can start. That Krishna says that's why. Yes, bhakti is the highest, but for the performance of bhakti, we should have that mode of goodness as well. After that, we have to add Krishna to that. So when they're professional readers, they are doing, though it's professional, they are not able to get the bhakti. That is not the highest bhakti, though. They will get the Ajnata Sukruti. There one day they have a chance to meet a devotee and then become to bhakti. But it's like an ordinary pious activity where we'll get good results. It favors it.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, Prabhu. Thank you very much for the session, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Mahesh.
Hari Hari. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavат Pranam. Thank you for such a wonderful session. I'd like to just add on that professional reciters thing, Prabhuji. If you permit me.
Yes, please.
Recently I was hearing some lectures, and they were specifically mentioning about these professional reciters. One thing we should understand, Prabhuji, is and Mataji, is that when we are preaching, it is not we speaking, right? Especially in Guru Parampara, when we are preaching, our Guru speaks through us, and it is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Balaram, Adi Guru. He speaks through us, and Lord Krishna speaks through us. That we should remember, because when we are repeating the transcendental word of the Supreme Lord, the preaching is actually being done by the Supreme Lord only, right? Provided we are humble enough to accept this and to repeat what our Guru says. So when the preaching is being done by a devotee, when Supreme Lord Krishna himself is speaking through that devotee, whether it's senior, junior, doesn't matter. The instruction has to be passed on. Then automatically you'll see transformation in people, and you will see that people are inspired to surrender, right? Whereas in case of professional reciters, Krishna doesn't speak through them. It is because they think that they are professional in reciting. They actually never take shelter of Krishna. In fact, they are pretenders, who speak about surrender, but they never themselves surrender. And another thing is that these professional reciters, they are basically they are ready to recite anything for making money or fame and name, right? I don't want to name some people, but today there is one very professional reciter of Bhagavatam, who has thousands of millions of CDs sold, and almost every household in entire Andhra Pradesh and Telangana have heard his CDs, and they say, "Oh, very nice, very nice." But how many of them have actually taken, candid steps towards surrender to Krishna after hearing that? And that professional reciter is even recites about people who are not there in the scriptures. I was shocked to see that, the other day, one of my friends sent me a video of him speaking about Shirdi Sai Baba. What is that? Sai Satcharitra, he is going ahead and reciting along with Bhagavatam. How is it right? How can a Vaishnava do something like that? Not only Sai Baba, but many others. He can go to any extent. If tomorrow, if you ask him to recite about, some fake avatar sitting in Chennai or sitting in some other part of the world, he will go ahead and recite about him also. For him, it is about acceptance of public, and name and fame is what matters. They are not representing Krishna. They are not being represented, and no parampara is approving them, but they are popular. And Bhagavatam says about that there will be so many professional reciters or people who are unauthorized to speak. Prabhuji and Mataji, actually, is uncontrolled media that is going on right now is a very dangerous thing, because in earlier days, for you to speak in a public forum, you need to have a qualification, right? I mean, you need to be you need to have that maturity, you need to be approved, and you need to have certain traits and qualities before you go and stand in front of an audience, right? And even to write something, it's not like you start writing whatever you wish. There is a authority who gives you the what do you call that, gives you the approval to publish it. But unfortunately today, with the internet coming in, anybody is becoming a guru. Anybody can speak. Even a drunkard can speak Bhagavatam. Even a womanizer can speak Bhagavad Gita. Even somebody who just understands English can start commenting on something like Bhagavad Gita, right? So it's so dangerous right now that anybody can create an impact at a much bigger level just by entering into internet, putting how much does it cost to open a YouTube channel? Tell me. It doesn't cost even 1 rupee. You have a Gmail ID, you have a YouTube channel, and then you can start publishing videos, and then you start reciting, right? And there are so many people who can nicely crack jokes and create audience for themselves, and they have millions of subscribers, right? So unfortunately, the professional reciters are going to become popular. They are going to be the people whom many people will follow, but nothing to worry, because nobody will surrender using those words. They will just take it as entertainment. At the end of the day, these professional reciters are entertainers, and the people who are listening to them are also getting entertained. Yes, if you say, will it inspire them to come towards pure devotion? I really doubt, because their recitation may not, but the names of God which they might unknowingly recite, as explained in Bhagavatam, will begin their spiritual life. Will have some, but we should be very careful with these professional reciters. Very, very careful. And one more thing that was discussed is about liberation of non-devotees. Prabhuji and Mataji's, is Krishna there when we are distressed? Yes, we call for Krishna's name when we are distressed. Is Krishna there when we are happy? Yes, we try to call his name when we are happy. But you should remember one thing: in material world, Krishna is not there when you are distressed or happy. It's the effort that you put to bring Krishna, into your feel. Like you are distressed and you put an effort to bring Krishna. He is easily remembered when you are in distress. Um, when you are happy, you have to put an effort to bring him. But in case of spiritual world, you're not putting an effort. There is no happiness or distress without Krishna. Right? There is a difference. Here, you're putting an effort to bring Krishna. Their happiness and distress is along with Krishna. There is no feeling in which Krishna doesn't exist, and you don't have to put any effort to bring Krishna into your be completely Krishna conscious. You don't think of anything else except Krishna in the spiritual world. So, a person just with his academic qualification or renunciation or austerity cannot enter the spiritual world. There is no question of non-devotee getting liberated. Liberation is a very loose word. For us Krishna conscious devotees, liberation means bhakti, right? But for some people it is mukti, right? It's two different things, mukti and bhakti. So if you're talking about bhakti aspect of liberation, it's impossible for anybody to reach the spiritual world without the sanction of the Supreme Lord. It is impossible, because you can't go there and try to remember Krishna. It's impossible. You don't enter. You're not qualified to be in that place if you're not remembering Krishna naturally. You have to put an effort to remember Krishna. Distress or happiness doesn't work out in spiritual world. So the mukti aspect of liberation is, I want to get rid of my pains and this birth, old age, disease, and death. There the I factor is still more. My enjoyment is still more. I want to become mukti. So you might go and sit in Brahman, for a vacation, or you might go to some heavenly planets and have some good time for some time, or even within the Earth planet, you might have a good body again. And next birth, you don't have any disease until you're 80, 90, and then you die, right? So mukti is not something the devotees are looking for, and mukti in that sense can be achieved through your own efforts, right? Again, everything is sanctioned by Krishna, but as far as bhakti aspect of liberation is concerned, there is no question of any non-devotee entering the spiritual world, no matter what you do, because that is Srimati Radharani's house, right? And she would not allow anybody to create disturbance for Krishna. So you have to be a devotee. There is no other choice. There is no other choice. So there is no liberation for anybody from the bhakti sense without the mercy of Krishna and Srimati Radharani. That's something that I've heard and learned. I'm speaking high philosophy, Prabhuji and Mataji's, and sometimes scares me whether I can follow this or not. But fundamentally, these are truths. And we are not being disrespectful to any professional reciter who is very famous or not. But we have to remember that we have to protect ourselves, because our Bhaktilata Bij is so small. It is smaller than size of the soul, maybe. Right? Size of the soul is 1/10. What is it? 1/10,000 tip of the hair, right? So our Bhaktilata Bij might be 1/10 of that. So it is so small, right? And you fiddle with it, keeping in front of professional reciters, then you'll never get bhakti. You'll never get bhakti. There are thousands of people who praise Bhagavad Gita, but there is only one Bhagavad Gita which praises Krishna, and that is Bhagavad Gita as it is. Right? There are thousands of people who repeat Bhagavad Gita, but there is only one Bhagavad Gita in which Krishna is speaking, as it is. So Krishna is the center of Bhagavad Gita. And without Krishna Bhakti, we cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. Without Krishna Bhakti, you cannot understand Bhagavatam. Without Krishna Bhakti, you cannot enter Krishna Loka. Without Krishna Bhakti, you will not get a spiritual master. Bona fide spiritual master you will not get without Krishna Bhakti. Right? So everything Krishna is center. So you should remember that. And I think it's a good remembrance you gave, Prabhuji, to all of us today morning by choosing to recite Gajendra Moksham prayers. Hari, sorry if I spoke anything wrong. Just trying to. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining today morning's program. I'm trying to invite speakers, but everybody seems to be busy for the Sunday morning. So you have to tolerate me for a little more time. And I'm so grateful to all the Prabhujis who are preparing and coming to these classes and so nicely presenting. Once His Grace Radhesham Prabhu told that sometimes hearing from new devotees is very enlivening and very knowledgeable, because they put so much effort to prepare, right? And they actually do all the research, and it's a sincere attempt. So and again, there is nothing like new and old. We are all eternal souls traveling birth after birth, learning about Krishna consciousness, and trying to remember by reciting these verses and the stories from Bhagavatam. So thank you, Prabhuji. Let us thank Santosh Aditya Prabhu with 3 loud and enthusiastic Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. I hope everybody are in good health.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All goes to Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah. Without Prabhupada, what are we? Yadi Prabhupada na hoite, I don't know what we all would have been. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, and there is a class of, I think, Radhesham Prabhu right now going on. You all can sign off and sign in into that class if you have time. That's what I'm planning to do. It's in ISKCON Hyderabad live. You can see that. And there is also a Kirtan festival organized by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami's team today evening from 5 p.m. onwards. I think in Jayapataka Swami Maharaj's YouTube channel. That is for the health of many great sannyasis and great senior devotees in ISKCON who are going through some severe medical challenges. So you all can participate and join the Kirtan festival. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Next week class is Ayya Prabhu class, Prabhu.
Next is Ayar Prabhu, our most enthusiastic and fired up devotee from Madinaguda.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu. All devotees, Prabhuji, Prabhu Subbarao మీరు అది పబ్లిష్ చేయండి ప్రభుజీ. గూగుల్ క్యాలెండర్ అయితే మనం యాడ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, చూసుకోవచ్చు కదా. సో everybody can share, when is next devotees class, like that.
Yes, Prabhu. I've been
And
publishing it in the group, Prabhu. So yeah.
So I mean, would be able to access? I mean, can we able to edit or something like that?
Oh, you wanted it to edit it?
No, just
avoid editing.
Prabhuji, editing
It's
rights are
only-
exclusive to Subbarao Prabhu. You can just add. You can't edit. So whatever we have, fine. Prabhu.
No, not like that. Not that he has the rights and we don't have nothing like that. But it just is managing the calendar. So we can go and see and suggest if you want to add any class at any time. And
Yes, Prabhu. Sorry, I missed the conversation for a bit. What was it, Prabhu? Sorry, Praveen Prabhu.
No. So, Lilananda Prabhu is saying, you can suggest, and because you are so nicely organizing and managing, and then
yeah, Prabhu, you can put it in Google, but I was trying to see that not everybody edits it.
Yeah, you can give the editing rights also, big deal.
Okay, bro.
Go ahead, and if you want to update our class, but don't do any last minute edits.
Exactly.
That's
That's what kills it.
Yeah.
We have an order and we are just following the order. Thank you.
Yes, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
If you want to organize it, Giriraj Prabhu, more than welcome to.
Yes, Hari. We all are doing different
roles. Since last close to 4-5 months, you are continuously doing. So let us share some, Prabhu. We will do
Sure.
every time.
Sure, Prabhu. Sure.
Yes. Share the link, Prabhuji. So Prabhuji can keep updated. Yeah. Okay. So Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. All assembled devotees ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Grandha ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Guru Parampara Sampradaya ki jai. Nitai Gaura Hari Premanande. Hari Bo.
Hari Bo.
Hari Bo.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Dandot Prabhuji.